Okay.
Come on, come on.
Welcome to the Unoriginal Podcast,
I'm Caleb,
and I'm Sabrina.
and today we're talking about imposter syndrome.
Today we have an intro because it's our first time recording since we published it.
Yes, the illusion is broken. This is
Yeah,
not it's not a weekly thing. It's pre-recorded what months? No,
it
not months.
worked.
Weeks
It
in
was
advance. It
months.
was
It was
months.
like
Now,
2 months.
yeah,
Pretty cool. I'm proud of that.
same. Hello to the future. Yeah.
That's like, oh yeah, true.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, well, this segues well into the topic.
Yeah. So imposter syndrome.
What?
Why is it like
Because I don't have a Mac and Audacity has funny lines and movement. It just
okay.
distracted Caleb.
Okay. Imposter syndrome. What does that
That's
mean?
fine.
What does it mean to you? Do you know what it is?
Yeah, based on a 2 minute search, yeah.
What is it?
Oh, isn't it a combination of feeling that your achievements are not well deserved,
Mm.
um, and also that links to you not deserving to be where you are, something like that. You know
Mm.
it is.
Yeah. I feel like something along those lines. Like imposter syndrome is like pretty much having to overwork yourself to have that feeling of like, oh, like okay, I'm competent enough, because a lot of people with imposter syndrome normally are very brilliant, but they just don't see themselves that way, so they don't take criticism well, good or bad, and a lot of the times they find themselves like overcompensating to meet standards. That's not very sustainable.
But that's the crazy thing because I think that that's the difference between you and I.
That
Because
I have it and you don't.
no, that's your interpretation of it, and maybe that's where your focus on it is. Because for me, it's a lot more to the side of I don't necessarily think that I deserve to be here because my position here were not based on my accomplishments alone,
You think it was luck.
which is the other side. No, I just know for a fact that a large majority of it was based on other people. And yeah, in that sense,
So it
luck.
was luck.
Okay, yes, Caleb, luck.
Mm. I listened to
Yeah.
this podcast recently, by this guy, this entrepreneur and something else. A lot of professions. And his name is Naval. I don't know his last name. And in this podcast, he talked about luck. He talked about there are four types of luck. There's blind luck, dummy luck. There's luck by putting yourself out there, making it shake, until something happens, and that's like the saying that fortune favors the brave, or fortune favors the bold. Just by putting yourself out there, luck will find you. And the third and fourth kinds of luck are like more, I guess, less of luck and more skill based. The third kind of luck is for being skilled. If you're skilled enough in a certain domain, you can kind of like find luck. You can spot out where luck is and like capture it. And the fourth and I guess most important or least lucky kind of luck is luck by being the best at something, and that's the unique luck. And a lot of times it's you being the best at being you, where the luck will inevitably find you all the time. And the example he used was, if you're the best deep sea diver, and somebody finds a bounty that's at the bottom of the ocean and nobody else can reach it, their luck, their blind luck by just happening to find this treasure is now your luck by being the best at that. So they will need to find you to help them capture it, and you're gonna get part of the money. I feel like with imposter syndrome, or at least the way we're describing it right now, even if you have the third or the fourth kind of luck by being really skilled at something or by being the best at something, you would attribute it to blind luck. You just said that like even by you being somewhere, it's not by your merit, but by just luck.
Yeah.
You end up being in the right place at the right time. Um, that can be detrimental. It can be good, but also bad. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. That was something I was starting to think of just in the time researching about this was how much do I tie this into the things I'm doing every day and how much do I think it's affecting me and how how much is it actually affecting me?
Mm.
Because I think there's actually somewhat of a divide where I recognize it, but I don't necessarily think it's impeding too much on what I'm doing. At least my thoughts. What about you?
Um, yeah, like I think it's good in the sense like for me sometimes it's a source of motivation. I feel like
Mm-hmm.
if I feel like I don't deserve to be in a certain position that I am, or I don't deserve the kudos or the praise that I'm given, I kind of then get that urge to like work harder to like fully, I guess, to tell myself to in order to be able to tell myself that I deserve this or that, you know. And obviously sometimes it can also be detrimental because then you really sometimes just need to accept the praise and not beat yourself up about not deserving it or not. If people recognize it, then who are you to like be like, oh no, not me, you know?
Yeah.
But at least so far for me, more times than not, it's been like motivation, like good or bad, it's been motivation. Have you ever had like encounters with imposter syndrome?
See, the reason I think it's sort of separate is that I don't think that I would turn down an opportunity because I think I don't necessarily deserve it. If I get offered something, if I get lucky, yeah, I'm taking it, I'm accepting it, I'm gonna do it. It just might affect the way I feel while I'm doing it. And subconsciously, sure, that might affect my work ethic or what happens after. But do you get what I mean by
Mm.
it's not impeding me to the extent that I'm not gonna take it, to recognize that the success
Yeah.
isn't mine. I think, I might not deserve it. I might not have worked as hard as I should have or anything to that sense. But yeah, if someone asks me, hey, did you get that position? Quick and easy answer, yeah.
Mm. Yeah, okay, but you got that position, but now you're in the job and
Mhm.
you think everybody around you that is in the same position is like way smarter than you. Do you ever like have that feeling of like, first of all, do you ever have the feeling like, oh, I don't think I should have got it, he should have gotten it, or she should have gotten it? And then second, when you're in that position, do you feel like you need to like work harder to meet what you think that the person who hired you for that position wanted?
Yeah, definitely. So in the same sense as you, it is it will serve as motivation. It definitely does. And that's I think in a good thing, in a good overall like net benefit, because at the end of the day it's a little bit of guilt trading off for learning something new in
Mm,
probably a shorter amount of time. I definitely sometimes encounter other people that I think like, oh, if you were in this position you could do so much more, or
mm,
um I almost wish that you could have gotten this instead of me or something like
mm,
that, because you can see someone's competencies. But I think all of that just manifests into further motivation. Yeah,
mm,
for good, for better or worse.
mm. Do you ever have um like an encounter with negative feedback being like a bigger
Mm.
blow than normal because of it? Like,
I am not extremely confrontational as a person, so negative feedback in general becomes a blow just because it feels like it's confrontation.
mm,
But yeah, if the way I take it, depending on how it was given, if it was given really
mm-hmm,
harshly, the way I take it can be a little bit detrimental. Um, but long run, I don't think I spiral, and it definitely just becomes some sort of motivator. I feel like motivator is almost like a positive word in this sense.
yeah,
It's not. It's just something
yeah,
that's
it's
gonna push
yeah,
me.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
almost
yeah,
like
yeah.
a weight on me that it's
Mm-hmm,
like,
mm-hmm,
okay, I'm gonna
yeah,
do it now. I have to. I have no other
mm-hmm,
choice.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
not a motivation like of you like wanting to do it. It's more like you
Yeah.
kind of have to. You feel
Yeah.
the like the pressure of having to. Okay, yeah.
But your case is more interesting because you, Caleb Magoha, don't take
Full
compliments.
name, guys. I feel like everybody. Okay, but I don't think it's just me. I feel like everybody like kind of doesn't know what to do with the compliments. Like,
Yeah,
oh,
I
thanks,
don't
or like
see that's the thing. I don't really care about other people right now because okay, the backstory of this whole podcast motivation, well, this topic motivation was we were having a chat. I think one of our long chats. I think okay, we had two before the start of the podcast,
Mm-hmm,
and we talked about this very briefly. You brought it up, and I almost didn't expect you to bring it up.
mm-hmm,
But after you brought it up, I talked a little bit about how I feel, and that's where I realized the core difference. On my bike ride home, I realized I wasn't saying the right things because your thing was that you don't take compliments, and my thing was that I feel guilty about being where I am, and
Mm,
I didn't realize that in the moment. So now I
mm,
want to hear more about this because yeah, you don't take compliments and you're thinking that everyone else doesn't take compliments because when I say, "Oh, I like your hair," people are gonna be like, "Thank you."
mm.
But it's more about your success. If people tell you you're smart or,
Mm.
"Whoa, Caleb, you're the best coder." Caleb won the award in our study association that people voted that you were the best coder.
Mm,
And the first thing you said to me was, "I don't think I should have gotten it," because I was standing there and I was looking around and I thought that there were other people that should have gotten it.
mm.
And that's crazy. I hope you realize that.
Okay, so the thing is, like, I generally don't feel like I do like a lot, and this has been like since like childhood. Maybe that's the root of things, because I feel like growing up, like I wasn't like studying like really hard. You know, like a lot, like there are people like the real nerds like actually study really hard. I think I was just like gifted enough to like not have to spend that much time in my books and still do well. And so like I remember vividly in 11th grade, for my first set of AP exams, and I had AP stats, and it was pretty difficult. But then this is my first time taking like AP exams, but I spent like a weekend maybe like going through the textbook, like the whole textbook, like once or twice, and I did really well on the exam. And my dad was like, I didn't expect that because like the thing is before that like all the other exams were kind of easy. So before that I was like watching like Rick and Morty, or like that's when I discovered Rick and Morty. So it's just what that one weekend that I spent in my books and I did really well. My dad was like, oh, it must be easy for you, you know. And ever since then it's like, oh, I feel I just had that thought of like if I don't put in the 10,000 hours that everyone else is putting in, then I really don't deserve like the praise, because I feel like without, I guess, this genetic boost, let's call it, that I have, I wouldn't be in the same position, because every other smart person that I know like will spend the whole night in their books. I've just never been able to do that. I feel like now I do it like a little bit more, maybe not the whole night, but like I put in more time in my books. But it's still like I would say a little bit, or maybe a little bit more than a little bit less than the smart of the smarts. So then when someone says, "Oh, you're really smart," or "You're good at this," "You're good at that," it's like I haven't put in that 10,000 hours to be the master of my craft in order to warrant that praise that the next person has done or has said that they have done. Because whenever it's exam season, I see people around me stressing and saying like, "Oh, I study like for the whole night. I didn't go to bed and this, that, and the third." I'm like, I didn't do that. So like, don't call me this or that, because I don't think I deserve that based on this like, I guess, environment, like societal notion of like you need to put in the 10,000 hours of work in order to be good at something. So if I'm good at something without putting the 10,000 hours, I don't think I'm that good. And it's that with coding, it's that with like a lot of aspects of life. I feel like, so yeah, I mean, call it imposter syndrome, but I've just never, I guess, worked. I don't think I've worked hard enough to warrant the praise that I sometimes get. Maybe that's a privilege, but that's how I see it, at least in my situation.
You are hearing yourself, right?
Yes.
Okay. And you are conscious and smart enough to link this to imposter syndrome, right?
No, I feel like that's why we're talking about this, because it might be.
No, it's not. It might be. It definitely is. By clear definition that we established at the start of this.
Yeah, but I'm not saying that I was just me being lucky, or I'm just saying like just sheer number of hours put in. I don't think I compared to a lot of other people.
Yeah, but you're also attributing it to your genetics somewhat.
Okay, that could be seen as lucky. That's true. That's true.
So that
Touche.
leads me to my second question. What type of luck does this fall into? You're attributing it to
I wouldn't
imposter
say
syndrome.
it's like okay, some of the things I will attribute to like fortune favors the brave type of luck, because like with me, like when I got my first job and then ended up having the opportunity to go to like a PhD level in conference in Germany, and then having the chance now to do a summer school at the same level in Germany, I feel like I've just put myself out there enough for that to find me. Some of it has also been, I guess, blind luck, winning the genetic lottery. Maybe not winning, but like coming in like top whatever percentage. Um, but I don't think I've gotten to the stage of like luck by being good at a certain thing or being the best or something. I feel like that comes later in life, at least for at our age. You know, like I feel like early 20s, you're really now finding yourself, finding your career. You're supposed to put yourself out there and get that, and hopefully get that hustle luck, you know. And then once you have that, then you generate experience in whatever field that you're in. And this also applies to like social life, but just for ease of explanation, yeah, in whatever expertise you're in, when you get that hustle luck, you then know enough to then craft that understanding of the domain you're in, and then you can get luck that way. Because if you know how to spot luck in whatever field of work that you're in, then you're better at that, and then eventually you become good at being uniquely you. Your own set of skills or whatever is what will help you go far. I feel like we're just not there yet. So a lot of the things I would say is either blind luck or hustle luck.
And how do you think this affects you, and how do you think it affects you?
Mm, I mean, yeah. So I think there are positives and negatives. Um, I feel like when someone okay, so the things when someone calls me smart, like a lot of I've now just gotten used to like saying thank you, but I never like appreciate the compliment, if
Mm-hmm.
that makes sense. So like I never think that I'm smart. Um, and I don't know what exactly would make me think that. I feel like yeah. So then whenever I do something dumb or like I don't feel smart, I really feel dumb, you know? Like if someone calls me smart, like, oh okay, whatever, you know, like I don't care too much. But then if I'm trying to figure something out and I can't figure something out, then I'm like, oh, I'm like actually stupid, or like I don't why are these people calling me smart? Like I can't even figure this shit out. Um but yeah, so like that's what I mean by like the wins are silent and the losses are pronounced, if that makes sense. I feel like that's a big factor for imposter syndrome. I feel like that's a good thing in the sense that it keeps you motivated to not like lose ever. I feel like so far, at least in my college education, I haven't had like a big enough loss to the point where I haven't really thought about the imposter syndrome. Because if you keep stringing together enough wins, you eventually forget what it feels like to lose, right? But then when that happens, it's gonna sucker punch. And I feel like that's what happened with when applying for internships, where like, not to say that I was expecting to get something, but when I didn't, it made me like kind of reevaluate and realize, okay, yeah, I really am not like good at anything, and shit like that. So, how am I saying? But yeah, what about you? What are your thoughts?
That that sounds really hard to live with. Yeah, that sucks. We did speak about this once, but I think it would be nice to speak about it here. What compliment from what person or what praise from what person would resonate with you
No,
if the throwaway I'm oh Caleb you're so smart just doesn't sit with you? So from who and what?
um, I'm gonna move this here a little bit because I think it's picking you up like a
Okay.
little bit quiet. Thing is, I used to think that I needed to hear from like a specific like person higher, but I don't think it's that anymore.
Yeah.
Like I used to think, oh, if I heard it from someone that I really admired or praised, or if I
Mm-hmm.
heard it from my dad or whatever, like it would mean like a lot, and I would finally like accept it. But
It's gotten worse then, maybe.
not that it's gotten worse. I just don't think that it's that anymore. I don't think I need to hear from a specific somebody.
See, that could also be interpreted as it's at the point where no one can say anything that will resonate with you.
Yeah, but it shouldn't be that way, right? You should only uh, what is the word? Self
Self
something.
reliance,
Yeah,
yeah.
whatever. Yeah, things like that.
To some extent, that's if I feel like that's if you're in a position where your self-esteem is low and your existence is dependent on other things, then yeah, that's how you build yourself up.
Mm,
But I think, someone like you, I think you're quite comfortable with the image you have of yourself.
mm.
So at this point, I think you
External
should be
validation.
able to accept external validation because that would be what development is,
Mm,
because you're also not at that point where external validation is something that you'll just take blindly and take it from anyone and take, have this boost your ego to insane amounts because you've moved past that person. So
mm,
I think you are at a point where you should be able to constructively take some of it. And even just have ideally probably a part of it be as a guilty thing, I don't know, to be in
mm,
a spot where you do feel like you're better than someone else because I
mm.
don't think you have that.
This is what I mean. Like the wins are short lived because I
Yeah.
have had situations where like a person that I really respect has said something good about me, and like for like maybe that afternoon or for the rest of that day, I
Yeah.
was like really like
Wow.
you know
Quite literally, you are the definition of, oh, that made my day.
yeah, it literally made my day. And then well the next day and then it's like
It's gone.
yeah, but I feel like that you shouldn't like live in the past and shit like that or like
Yeah, you should live in the past, but I don't think it should be that fleeting because that seems still like it doesn't resonate, that it was just temporary, you know?
mm. No, I feel like the thing is so that happens and then like something not as good would happen and that would trump
Mm.
the compliment, a lot of the times. And a lot of times the weights aren't like the same.
It should
But
sort of be reversed, don't you think, then? Because I feel like you'll do so much more in your life, and
yeah.
it's by the sounds of it, it's like you don't take every win, you just take the ones that will resonate, but you pretty much do take every loss. So the
Mm-hmm.
second the next loss hits, no matter how small it
Mm-hmm.
is, it'll trump the rare little win that
Mm-hmm.
you are willing to accept.
I think it's a confidence game.
Yeah.
I feel like everything is a confidence game. Like when if you string together enough wins, you're really confident and for a while like you won't feel this sort of imposter syndrome because you're getting wins, you're getting wins, you're getting wins. But then that first loss hits and everything just comes back, It's
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Like the confidence is shot and then now you start second guessing everything again. And it takes a lot to like build back up that confidence in yourself. But that's what I mean, like in the sense that it can be used as motivation for good or for
Yeah.
bad. But um let's switch domains.
Okay.
Where else you think for imposter syndrome is prevalent?
For me or in general?
Let's start with well, let's start generally.
Yeah, so we've been focusing a lot on like work life,
Mm-hmm.
basically. I guess to some extent it could manifest in relationships
Mm-hmm.
with romantic ones with did that I wonder if that made your recording. Yeah, that was so funny. Caleb's notification just went off. Um yeah, so I guess it can manifest in romantic relationships. Maybe less so with your family because I think that's something that happens gradually, right? Because you grow up with them. I mean, gradually in the sense that you grow up with them. You're not ever gonna think that, oh my god, I don't deserve my mom in a real sense,
Mm-hmm.
right? Um, and then in probably friendships and the people you surround yourself with.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the first thing that comes to my mind.
So you think like your characteristics as a friend sometimes could be like, oh, you're not like you might think you're not really a good friend, but other people think of you as a good friend type of thing. Like you don't think
Yeah,
you're a good.
like if you don't think of yourself as a good person, as
Mm-hmm.
you were just about to say, or I don't know, for me, the idea of being intelligent also is something I think I would measure myself by.
Mm.
By being friends with someone, then I would think that, oh, I am not intelligent enough to be,
Friends with you.
yeah, or and
Mm.
that I would probably link to competence. So I would something along the
Uh.
lines of that. But that's my thing. That like the whole thing of feeling guilty of being where you are.
Mm-hmm.
What about you?
Okay, I get that. I understand that because I could see like also like in because I know there's a lot of people with body dysmorphia or self
Mm,
image, where it's like, I mean, you might spend time in the gym and you're not where you think you are, or you're not where you think you want to be. And so, like, when someone says, "Oh, you're looking good," like, as in body wise, or even just facial features wise, and you're like, "Oh, thank you," but you don't take it to heart because you don't think that's where you are. You think you're just saying it to be nice or whatever, and that could be like a really like limiting thing. I think that's how this whole thing of imposter syndrome can like link to like your idea of success. Because if you're basing success on other people's definitions of what it is and like trying to put yourself in that position, you're never gonna reach it because it's somebody else's success. It's not necessarily yours. Like it's like you're looking at someone's finish line on their path
yeah.
when you're on your path and you're not looking at your finish line. So then when someone is like, look, man, you're on your path," you're like at the end. You're looking at their end, and it's like, because your end is maybe closer than their end, you don't think you're all the way there yet. So then when someone's like, "Oh, like nice arms," or "You have a pretty face," or
Mm,
whatever things like that, you're like, you're guilty about it, or you don't think you deserve those comments or those
yeah.
praises. And there's also societal. There's also everything can be
It's
linked to how
so
social media
societal.
is like Pandora's
Yeah.
box and it's open to so much nonsense that the world now has to live with.
And I feel like it's almost catch 22, right? Because it's like you might have been in a better spot before you started going to the gym. So hypothetically, if we take this gym analogy and someone's like, "Hey, you look great."
Mm,
There's maybe a 50-50 chance you'll be like, "Oh, thanks," or maybe something like, "Oh, I don't really work for this, but thank you,"
mm-hmm,
right? But then you start going to the gym, and now you've set goals and expectations for
mm-hmm,
yourself, and
mm-hmm,
now someone's like, "Hey, you look great." Your answer could possibly more likely be, "Yeah, but this is what I'm
mm-hmm.
actually aiming for, and I'm not
Yeah.
there yet."
Except you never
And
say that because that's just a jerk move
yeah,
in
but then it
society.
comes out in other places. Like if someone's like, um, "Oh my god, you know so much about this," you'd be like, "Oh, not really. I just read this one thing one time,"
Mm-hmm,
right? Instead
mm-hmm.
of something, and I that always sucks, right? Because it's like the harder you work,
Yeah.
the more of a trap you fall into. I really like what you said about confidence as being the other
Mm-hmm,
side of this. I think firstly would probably be building up self esteem if you're at that spot where
mm-hmm,
you don't have a good grip of yourself,
mm-hmm.
and then after that would be confidence, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Confidence is like,
Yeah.
I feel like in everything in society these days is very confidence driven.
Sorry, confident?
A lot of the times I would like to think so.
Are
It's
you
just when
sure?
I'm like, cause okay, in your comfort zone it's very easy to be confident. I think my comfort zone is large enough where I'm confident on a day to day basis. But when I'm put in those like edge cases, those peripheral situations, it's like, yeah, my confidence not that it's shot, but it's like I need to like figure out quickly a way to like get it. So like for example, in football, playing football, before a game, a lot of times my performance in the game is dictated by how well the pre-game training goes. Like if we're taking shots and like I'm not hitting the shots that I want to hit in the game, I'm gonna be less likely to take those shots and will resort in a worse
Mm,
performance. Or if I'm feeling like not light in my feet or feeling heavy, bloated, whatever before the game, and in that pre-game training, I don't feel that good about the way I'm playing, it's gonna translate into the game. I feel like it's the same with like
yeah.
in academics or in relationships in friendships, whatever.
Mm, very good.
Like you need to like I guess test the waters and see like how well you compare, and if it's like not that good, it's gonna dictate the way you do in that situation. So like that's why I feel like a lot of people end up dropping out of college very early,
Mm,
is that maybe the first exam doesn't go to plan, and then so they think they're
yeah,
not
they
cut out
lose
for
confidence.
this exactly.
Oh,
And
that's
that
true.
could be a form of that's a good one, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought of that on the spot.
Lord.
but but yeah, it's like shit like that happens, and then you just like feel okay. I'm definitely not worthy to be in this situation. These people, and yeah, and then it triggers the fight or flight, where you either like overwork yourself to the point of like unhealthiness to keep up, or you just like I'm not cut out for this. You quit, and then again, you're in an unhealthy mental state. So
Yeah.
it's like a lose-lose situation. That's why it's such a tricky mental battle to have, imposter syndrome.
So I get that you're confident in your day to day, but what about specifically in an academic setting, in your professional setting? Because that's where you deal with imposter syndrome the most,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm. Um, I feel like when I'm learning something new, or when I'm about, not even when I'm about to learn something new,
Right.
I get really, I feel like that's when it's the strongest because I haven't tested the waters, and I just don't think that
And
I
you're,
have
yeah.
the cognitive skills to learn this thing.
Wait, what's the strongest?
When imposter syndrome is the strongest,
Really?
yeah. Or you think you're most confident before?
I was wondering what you would say. But I thought you would have said the thing about being confident by the
No,
start.
no, 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 no.
Uh,
I
I
need to.
mean,
It needs
that's
to be.
understandable.
No, I can't.
Yeah, okay. I also get that that's a little more nerve-wracking to start.
Yeah. So
And
now
then,
going into like the fifth semester or
yeah.
and taking on these new things, it's like, do I have the, I guess, the cognitive ability to be able to keep up?
Yeah.
Because I feel like the same when I hear from my friends that study EBE and they talk about like how hard it is and how the dropout rates are insane. I mean, a part of me thinks that like I might be in that same situation if I did
Mm.
EBE, but also like obviously a small part of me thinks that maybe I would be part of the few.
That's
But I
good.
never, yeah, but yeah. See, that's what I'm saying. Like it's not like terribly bad in my case. I know
Yeah.
people have it way worse.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, there's still like a little part of me that thinks, okay, I feel like I've gone through something similar
Hmm.
in terms of learning something very, very quantitative, and I have been okay. So a lot of times, like I can try and like map how my skills will transfer from one domain to another. But I'm saying when I'm completely put in new waters, which I feel like might be the case next semester with like I guess a college level math rigorous type of setting. In the beginning, I am going to have like this feeling of like I should definitely should not be taking this class, or I definitely should not be here. And then yeah, we'll see how that goes. I feel like yeah, confidence will build up as time goes on. Um.
I think also that this is an area of confidence that is not spoken about often enough, and to that extent not taught enough on how you can build it because it's just so niche almost,
Mm,
right? It's like, how do I express that I'm not confident when I'm applying for jobs or about to go into an interview,
mm,
but I am in my day to day. Like, I am
mm,
fine approaching the world
yeah.
and speaking to people. And when I look in the mirror, my self esteem is there.
Mm-hmm.
However, when I'm about to learn a new skill, I'm so scared to my bones that
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna do well or something, and the confidence will only build as I
Mm-hmm.
start to. But at that point, before I do, this, what do you call it? This
Fear of failure.
yeah, fear of failure is so
Yeah.
overwhelming that I might not even start,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the problem. I need confidence there.
To even I feel like so I mean we talk about fear of failure
Yeah,
and it's like yeah it's all like deeply intertwined
yeah,
with imposter syndrome and perfectionism and self esteem like you said. Um and I feel like really you just have to like do it. There is no like right starting time or right starting
yeah.
point, you know? Um
Just use like blind confidence and
yeah, I
do it.
guess. You just kind of like have to you need to be naive enough to start.
True, ignorance is bliss.
Exactly. You need to be naive enough to start.
Yeah.
I feel like the once you do that, obviously like it's scary like once you start figuring out what you don't know because then you
Mhm.
realize how much it is. But just knowing that the fact that you've already started, it's like might as well keep going. And like you said, that confidence is only going to build. So once you get over that first step, then everything else like comes easy, I feel like.
Yeah.
And I'm always constantly having to remind myself, like when I'm in a new situation, like you just need to like get over this first hurdle, and everything else will come with time. Like when I attended the conference in Germany, like my presentation was on the second day, so the whole the first day, at
You
least
present.
before before
That's
before
bad.
lunch, I was shitting. I was like pooping myself. I was nervous. But I told myself, because if I'm like this for tomorrow, the presentation is gonna go really bad.
Yeah.
So then I like kind of like had to push myself to go over that first hurdle of raising my hand during someone's presentation to ask a question, or going up to somebody after the presentation to like talk more about what their research is about, and this, that, and the third. Like kind of building that confidence up in that setting, being able to talk with PhD kids as a at that point, like just beginning second year bachelor student, like
It's
what do I know?
crazy.
But I was just asking, I guess, naive questions. But even if it seemed like a dumb question or like easily answerable, it was just building my confidence in being able to speak in that situation.
Mm.
And so when it was time for my presentation, I'd already spoke to like at least half of the people there. So then it was kind of like, okay, think of yourself back in college, the people you know you've presented in front of them before. It's kind of the same thing. And then that's how it then translates. You've built up that confidence where, okay, even if you still have that underlying imposter syndrome, the confidence kind of overshadows it for that
Yeah.
specific moment. And then you take that win, and then the next loss comes, and then it's like crashing down. But then you just build it back up. I feel like there's excitement in life of like never being satisfied.
Yeah.
Yeah, because then life is boring. Am I right?
I think that's a great point. So be ignorant and naive enough to keep you out of a spiral, but also keep your mind clear. And then I think maybe a small life hack would be to just imagine yourself as a little bit better than at least the worst person there. You know, it's the idea of thinking that you're better than someone. Because I think that's, you know, if you just
Okay.
fully believe that, then
Interesting.
at least you're not gonna fall into the pit that thinks
Mm.
I do not deserve to be here because
Mm-hmm.
I am like, you know, at the bottom of the list or something. I don't know.
It's an interesting thing because what I read was that a lot of people that experience imposter syndrome are often the most competent ones there.
Mm,
It's because the people who are naive and ignorant don't really like they think they deserve to be there whether they do or not. So it's like when you're really good at something, it's when you think like, oh, because when you're really good at something, you either go the super cocky route or the super
yeah,
shy.
the humble route.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and oftentimes humility then turns into imposter syndrome or just scary.
I think maybe another way to break out of that lens is to not have it focus on you yourself because I think a lot of it, by the sounds of it, is thinking that I don't deserve to be here. But surely looking around you,
Yeah.
you think, you know, you're not the only one that
Mhm.
doesn't deserve to be there, you know?
Exactly.
Um, and obviously not in a super cocky and playing
Mm.
God sort of way. But maybe that'll be one of the steps to help you if
Yeah.
it does come to
You
that.
should never attribute your accomplishments to blind luck. Always
Yeah.
think of it at least as the second or the third type of luck. Because when every that's why I hate when people say, "Oh, I was just lucky and did
Yeah.
this," because it's like I don't think that's a good way to phrase your accomplishments.
What are the
But
four types of luck?
so there's blind luck, that's dummy
Mm-hmm.
luck. There's fortune favors the brave, where
Mm-hmm.
you just by hustle, like by saying yes to everything, eventually something will shake, something will happen for you. There's the luck by being a master of your domain, so being like good enough at something to spot where the luck comes in, and then being the best at being being the unique luck, being the best at something, or being the best at being you, because then the luck will find you because you're really good at being that person. You're really good at being Sabrina. So the luck that is meant for Sabrina will find you instead of you
Mm-hmm.
having to go out and look for it. The luck by being the best runner will find you. Usain Bolt, whatever, whatever, whatever. So it's like I feel like, and this was also expressed in the podcast that I listened to, where like later on in life is when you really encounter that road, and especially the fourth type of luck, because then you're building your personal brand through living life. Like your unique set of skills and abilities, characteristics is what's gonna like help you market yourself. I feel like a lot of people forget this because we live in like a world where like you have to be one type of person. Like when you're applying for a job, you need to match this specific profile. But then what happens when a lot of people match that specific profile? You need to differentiate yourself. And the only way by doing that is by being you, because nobody else is you. You can be good at this and that, but someone could also be equally good at this and that, or even better. But no one is better at no one is fuck. No one is better than you at being you.
No one is better at being you than you.
Is that not what I said?
No, you said no one is better than you than being you.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
do you believe in luck?
We could go
Yeah, this
into
will
this for
likely be a
a
separate
whole
podcast,
new
but
topic, but
just quick answer, do you believe in luck?
I don't know. That's a
I mean,
boring answer,
yeah.
but
I'm not gonna get into this now, but
I
I
don't
believe
think
in
so.
what is it called? Determinism, so like fate.
Um,
But I believe in like I don't know how to call it like active luck. So it's not that it's gonna come to you, you know, even dummy luck.
mm,
I don't necessarily think that it'll just happen to you if you're on your couch every single day and you're like, oh, I'm gonna get lucky. I
mm,
think that everything takes some sort
a
of
little
work.
bit of
Yeah,
push.
yeah.
Okay,
I have the perfect way to end off this podcast.
let's hear it.
Caleb, do you think you're better than me?